Hey YouTube, this is Maverick. I just wanted to give you a quick little update, quick little story really about something just happened today. I just got back from Advance Auto and I picked up a couple things for this car. I picked up a starter solenoid and I can get out the bag a positive battery cable. Now it's black, but you got the little, comes with the little red stripe thing you put on it. They're all black, so you know. But it's obviously not a ground cable. You can tell when it's mounted on the car what's a ground and what's not. Anyway, like I said, I got the starter solenoid. And of course that mounts here. You can kind of, here's the solenoid and there's where it mounts on the inner fender. But again, I'm not expecting this car to run. I'm not expecting to crank it. Like I said, I hadn't even checked to see if the engine's locked up. And I'm not going to do that with the starter. You know, I'm going to take a breaker bar and socket to the crank and see if I can get it to turn without, you know, having to put too much pressure on it. Hopefully it's not locked up. Again, there's not much way anything could have come through the carburetor that I could see as far as I said in one video, mouse or rat urine or moisture of any kind, really much at all. I said it was stored in the dry, and then it had an air cleaner on it, and that kept the mice and stuff out of it. I did notice that somebody has tried to take this exhaust manifold, driver's side exhaust manifold, off. And I'm not exactly excited to see that, because that could have let particulates or something into the, you know, the combustion chambers, and could have, if it is locked up, that's probably what I'm going to blame for it. But we'll see. We'll see. But again, I'm not really putting all this stuff on here to try to crank it. I'm just wanting to complete this mess of wires right here. You know, obviously there's no starter solenoid, and there's no positive cable, and at least what I'm hoping to do is maybe get power inside the car where, you know, like for the headlights, taillights, to interior lights, anything that takes power, you know. Just to see it kind of come to life for the first time in 40 years, even if it's not running. But anyway, the story that I was getting to is, you know, when I bought all this stuff, I told them, you know, you tell them, you know, you need a part for a, you know, 67 Galaxie 500. And, you know, they go in the back and pull it off the shelf and whatnot. And the guy brought it back and said, does this look like the part you need? I said, yeah, it looks like it. I said, but I wouldn't know any better just by, you know, looking on my car, because it doesn't have it. And I went on to tell him kind of a really short version of the story of this car, you know, being in the barn for 40 years and you know, all that, and 26,000 miles, and the story of the title lien just now being released on it, and this and that. I missed a few points. I wish I could have sat and talked to him longer. They're starting to get starting to get a few customers in there, so I kind of cut it short. But you know, this it's about Christmas. It's December the 10th, I think. I had to check. I'm not sure. It's around there. It's yeah, it's December 10th, Saturday. So, you know, being a Saturday right now, so close to Christmas, I had to make a stop by Walmart too, and Walmart is packed, and Advance was empty. I guess people aren't giving gifts from Advance for Christmas too much. But when I went in again, when I left, it was starting to get a few people in there. But anyway, it's interesting. I think that's about the first time I've actually told somebody about this car that didn't have inside information on it. You know, that, you know, I've got friends that have known about it this whole time, and you know, you give them updates and stuff, but it's not the same as telling somebody who's not familiar with it at all. I mean, it was cool. He was really interested in this car, and you know, excited about it. I think some of the other employees were kind of standing around listening too, you know. But yeah, it's a neat car. And I neglected to mention that Advance I went to was it's just a stone's throw away from where this car was bought new. And I told you it's Reavis Ford in Mocksville, and this Advance is on the same road, just 30 seconds or a minute maybe up the road from Reavis Ford, or what was Reavis Ford. It was All American Ford last, when it was still a Ford dealer, within the last 10 years or so. I'm not sure when they, again, I think I said this in another video, I remember them. I've had service done there before. I went up there and looked at cars there and whatnot. But it might be about 10 years now they've been out of business. But the building's still there, and it's well, what I should say, it's been about 10 years since All American Ford's been out of business. Reavis Ford's been out long before my time, but it's the same building, as I said. And well, the building's still there. It's All American Pawn now. So it's a pawn shop, but it's still, I believe it's still named All American. And yeah, I'd like to go up there as part of this series and make a video of the building, you know, the outside and all. You know, you go through, show the service bays, what were the service bays, and the shop front, and all that. Because like I said, it's still, everything's still there. But you know, I don't want. It gets dark so early now, this time of the year, and you know, I don't want to really do it while they're open. I don't want to think I'm scoping it out to rob the place or something. But might be kind of strange. And I've never been in there before to the actual pawn shop to look at anything. But they seem to have some cool stuff there. It seems like they sell cars there every once in a while. But anyway, I just thought that was a neat story. It's funny how, you know, car guys, we like a good story. We like a good story on a car, or I mean, we like nice cars. We don't like rare cars. We like muscle cars, you know, imports, whatever. I mean, we like nice cars, but when there's a story behind it, it's just, I think we're all kind of that way, where we like a good story behind a car, you know. And you know, provenance, or whatever you want to call it. And you know, this thing wasn't owned by any celebrity. I know the full ownership of it, obviously, but it wasn't owned by any celebrity. But it still has a, in my mind, has a provenance to it. Just a real good story behind it. And anyway, I thought I'd share that. Like I said, I found that kind of funny, you know, and cool, you know. Not everybody gets it. Not everybody gets the old car thing, or classic car. You know, just look at something and say, "Well, it's just an old car." I mean, what do you plan to do with that? You know, it's gonna guzzle gas, and it's heavy and big and da da da. I had one guy one time said, "Why do you like cars so much? It's big hunks of metal." I said, "Well, you either get it or you don't." That's all there is to it. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. Like I said, I kind of thought that was interesting. So anyway, the saga continues. We'll see what we can get done with this thing, and yeah, we'll just see where it goes. And again, if you want to buy it, it's coming up for auction February 3rd, 2017. Keep that date in mind. It's significant for several reasons, which I don't think I've got into all of them yet. But the initial reason I was wanting to sell it on February 3rd, 2017 was the car was purchased on Friday, February 3rd, 1967. February 3rd, 2017 falls on a Friday. And obviously the 50th anniversary of the car being originally purchased is when the process will begin to find it a new owner. And I think that's only fitting. And I said that was the reason I initially chose that date. But I guess this is as good a time as any as to explain why I think this is the perfect date for this car. Again, I didn't go into this, when I chose February 3rd, I didn't go into this knowing what I know now and what I'm about to share with you. But when I found that out, it made more sense to me, and it really makes me think this is the perfect, this is meant to be. It's the date that this car is meant to be sold. There's no better date I can think of. There's just too many factors. One thing I found out after choosing the date is that February 3rd, 2017 is Wear Red Day, to support stroke awareness. And I believe it's actually it's more specific, women's stroke awareness. And to get to as far as the red thing goes, you don't get much redder, much more red than a Ford candy apple red with a red interior. I mean, this is red as you want it to be. And so that's fitting. But also the cause behind it. As I said, it's for, I believe, women's stroke awareness. And as I said, this was my grandfather's car, but my aunt was the primary driver of the car. And several years ago, my aunt passed away from complications of a stroke. And when I found out all this about the Wear Red Day and you know, women's stroke awareness and everything, I just can't think of a more perfect send-off for this car. Again, there's just too many coincidences with that date that, again, I could not think of a more perfect day to sell this car, or to begin the auction to sell this car. I mean, how often? What are the odds? I mean, so again, I second guessed myself about selling the car and everything, but I remember all this, the significance of that date, and I say this is just meant to be. So we'll see it. We'll see it go on. Auction begin on February 3rd, 2017, and putting it on a low reserve. What I feel is a low reserve for this car. I'm not looking for 10 grand reserve or anything like that. That's not what it's going to be. But what I feel is I believe it's a reasonable reserve. I feel like it should easily meet that reserve that I have in mind. Obviously, I'm not going to share the reserve price with you, but based on a lot of the interest I've had in this car for people I know, I haven't really advertised it other than these videos. They haven't had a whole lot of views yet. Not many people know about this at the time being, but my friends that do know about it have actually several more than I would have expected have shown interest in it and made offers and whatnot. Now I don't know how serious these offers are. As most of them haven't even seen the car in person, which I'll be encouraging them to do once I get everything cleaned up. But I mean, some have seen it when it was in the barn several years ago, stuff like that. But none of them have really seen it since it's been pulled out. None of the friends that have made offers on it. But they've seen pictures and they've seen video and whatnot of it. But I'll be opening it up. I mean, if they want to come look at it now, I mean, I don't mind. But I'll mainly be trying to get them to come up here and look at it once I've got everything clean and almost to what condition it's going to be into when it goes to auction, the final product. But again, I've had a lot of interest in this thing, and if it doesn't sell at auction, if it doesn't meet my reserve, which again I think it will, I really think it will, because my reserve is pretty reasonable. It's hard to price one like this because of, I mean, it's one of a kind. I mean, where do you find a 26,000 mile original Galaxie 500 with it's an authentic barn find, not just, you know, something somebody pulled out of the field and said, oh, that was a barn find. No, this is an authentic barn find that's been in a barn for 40 years. You just don't find that. I mean, that's just you know, very rare to come across something like that. I joke about it. My two oldest cars I own being the 57 Continental Mark II and this car have the lowest mileage of all the cars I own. Being the Mark II having 22 or 23,000 miles, and this one having under 26. I mean, in a lot of ways, these are about as close to brand new as far as certain aspects of them as you're going to find. But anyway, I've rambled on a bit too much. But yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm just, it'll be bittersweet to see it go to a new home. But it needs to go. I can't restore it the way deserves to be restored. I have too many projects, and you know, it would take me forever to get around to this one, or just, you know, nickel and dime it together, and you know how that works. It's not always, sometimes you lose focus when you do that, when you've got so many other projects and whatnot, and limited time and funds. But anyway, again, I found that interesting. And a part of me looks forward to seeing what kind of home she goes to, and you know, what we can do with this auction and everything. And I just feel it's the right thing to do and the right time to do it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and as I hope you enjoy all my videos, and I know I go a little bit long on them, and sometimes I have a lot to say, and sometimes I just ramble on. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and we will see you February 3rd on eBay. And in the meantime, I'll be posting updates as they come, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching.